Today I'm joined by a man of many talents. He's a UFC lightweight slash welterweight, a former Ultimate Fighter contestant, and one of MMA's most underrated coaches. He's the James Krause. All right, so we haven't really seen you in action since January, and I remember seeing something about a fight with Leonardo Santos possibly happening or being rumored or whatever. Was there anything to that or anything there at all?
Yeah, they actually they'd offered me the fight, but at the time that I was offered the fight, I was debating on what weight class that I would like to go in, whether I was going to go in 55 or go back up and try 70 again. And I just really, if I was going to go to 55, I wasn't ready to do it again. It's a really tough cut for me to make, so I really didn't want to do it. And I'm gonna probably go up in weight anyway, so it just didn't make sense for us to do at the time. And there was a lot of things going on. I had my life going on, personal and stuff like that. Nothing bad, just a busy time for me. So the schedule just didn't make sense for me. So we're looking at hopefully here in a couple months. That'll be good to get back at it.
All right, cool. Yeah, I saw you teasing kind of the 170 return, so you're actually going to go through with that for sure now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't got a name or an opponent or anything like that yet, but I mean, I'm supposed to have some names last week. I guess I just haven't got around to it yet. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to have some names at 170 or an opponent soon, and we'll go from
there. Yeah, nice. Are you looking at anyone specific, or you're just going to take whatever?
No, I mean, Sean and I had talked, and we talked about some possibilities. Specific names have came up, but I was hoping to get some here in the near future. I hope they book me soon. So We'll see. I'm just playing the waiting game,
Yeah. So also speaking about weight classes, there's the what it's looking to be the change back to the old weigh-in format, and I haven't really seen many fighters too supportive of that idea, despite what Dana says. How do you feel about it?
Man, I can see the concern from Dana's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I mean, there has to be some sort of sleep involved. So the problem is the guys that are cutting it close, they don't have much time. So there's less time to cut the weight because they have to sleep. Even if you get up at 4 a.m., you still have to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you were to have weigh-ins at 4, I mean, you would have that whole day. So what's happening is a couple more people are missing weight because their program's not 100 going into it. So, Dana's losing a little bit of money over it. I can see his point of view for sure. But if we're talking in strictly the subject of fighter safety, I think it is not only not smart to push that back. I think it's irresponsible to push it back. So you can't tell me if fighter safety is number one on your list. You can't look me in the eye and tell me that pushing back is a safer alternative route, because it doesn't make sense scientifically. It doesn't make sense in any aspect. They've already taken away the IVs, which, look, I mean, I'm not a guy that is going to complain. Just tell me the rule set and I'll play by it.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep the term fighter safety. That's what they're all about. You can't tell me fighter safety is your number one priority and then you take away IVs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you say the IVs are used to mask steroids. I'm not a steroid user. Awesome, I'm in on that. But then you can't look me in the eye and say, hey, I'm going to take 6 to 8 hours away from your rehydration process, but fighter safety is still, Now, if you looked me in the eye and said, look, we're missing out on a lot of money on this, we're going to push this back, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But in terms of fighter safety, it's not only wrong, it's irresponsible. And, it just doesn't make sense. Those two things aren't parallel. I understand why he's wanting to do it, but it's just not safe. It's not safe for any of us to do it, and that's why I'm considering going back up. 55 is a tough cut for me, so I'm going to try 70 and see what it looks like. And I don't think they'll ever add that 65 in. It doesn't look like it's fighter safety is a concern of anybody's, and I get that. I understand it's a business. Look, they don't care about fighter safety. They're trying to make money. I understand. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the fighter safety thing and taking IVs away and pushing the weigh-ins back to the original place, like those two things aren't parallel to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy just how the responses have been like completely against that, yet he's still all for it and everything. So do you think that like a union is the only thing that could really prevent him from still going through with these kind of things in the future?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think we're going to have one anytime soon.
Yeah.
The problem is to form a union, you're going to need the heavy hitters. You're going to need the 10 people or the 5 people, the 5 to 10 people, whoever it is. You're going to need the guys that make a difference in the pocketbook. You're going to need those guys to take a step up and do it. And the problem is those guys are being compensated well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're being taken care of on another level behind the scenes, and it's going to take one or multiple of those guys to take a stand. You know, and it's like, for example, in the NBA, you have a team. You know, a team
Mm-hmm.
can take a stand on that and really affect. You know, if one team says, "Look, I'm not playing," that affects the entire NBA, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really does, because it'll affect. I mean, they have, what do they have? 100+ games. They have what?
Oh yeah, they
80,
have a lot.
90, 100 somewhere in there. So not only you're affecting all 80, 90, 100 of your games, but you're affecting the other team's games as well. And when you start playing with money from owners and stuff like that, those guys tend to take a step back and be like, look, all right, what do we got to do to fix this? Let's figure this out. The problem with MMA is it's an individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
So if one guy says, hey, I'm taking a stand, they're like, all right, cool, let's push him out and start building somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's different. That's the only disadvantage to being an individual sport rather than a team sport, is it's going to take a couple guys to take a step up. And the problem with that is the UFC has done such a great job of having that, you know, the marketing machine, that they can essentially build whoever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So if Connor or whoever says, hey, piss off, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm taking a stand, they'll be like, okay, we'll just create another guy.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that easy. You know, if, let's say, Connor, Stipe, all the champions decided to sit, then we're on to something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then we're on to something. So, but I just don't see that happening anytime soon, if ever, really. The only way I see that happening is if the Supreme Court gets involved somehow,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not convinced that it's going to go there anytime soon. And this is the thing that people don't understand. People don't understand what the hell a union is. Like, a lot of these guys are like, look, they think union equals, you know, more money for me, which is, in the long run, could be true. But let's say we created a union today. A union costs money to run. Like, you have a lot of these guys that can't even pay a damn $100 a month or $150 a month or 10% of their they can't even pay that. They're irresponsible. They're too irresponsible to pay that. So now we're going to expect them to pay union dues on top of that. You know what I mean? Like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. That's the thing that people are missing out on. Is it costs money to run a union? You know, you have to pay people to be your voice. And let's be honest. Like the majority of fighters aren't the most intelligent guys. I mean, the majority of people in the sport come from low-income families or broken homes. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
just very few of them are businessmen. They don't understand how it works. So we're in a weird dynamic right now. You know, it's going to take. I don't see it happen anytime soon. Not while I'm still fighting, at least. But hopefully one day there's a happy medium where everybody can get what they deserve.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation for sure. So we can move on from that. So you're also a coach at Gloria Main Fitness, and technically you probably spend more time being a coach than a fighter, right? So do you have a specific preference to which you like doing better between coaching or fighting?
Say that last part one more time.
Do you have a preference to which you like better between coaching or fighting?
I'm a much better coach than I am a fighter, for sure. I've had a lot of fights. I'm passionate about both. Yeah, I like both. It depends. It really depends. I really enjoy both. I'm a better coach than I am a fighter for sure. And I foresee myself being done fighting within the next couple of years and moving to a full-time coach for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ah, cool. So yeah, you were on Tough 25 as a fighter, but then you also coached with Team Stipe on the current season that's going on right now. How was that experience as a coach compared to actually fighting on the Ultimate Fighter show?
Oh, it was great. I mean, you get all the benefits of being on the Ultimate Fighter without any of the terrible things having to go home. You know what I mean?
Great
Like
point.
it's pretty much a vacation train, so it's great. It was a phenomenal experience. I mean, getting to share knowledge with these young, hungry guys that want to be in the gym every day, and then some of them are kind of immature in the game. They don't understand it. So I think someone like me that's had 50 fights. I've had 55 fights total, amateur and pro. I think I bring a lot of value to some of these young kids that because I was in their spot at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that information is valuable, especially me being on the show. I gave those guys a lot of tips. Like I was in the same house as them, so I told them which side to go to the house. I feel like there's a better side. I told them if they need anything, how to get it. You know what I mean? Like I gave them a lot of tips and tricks. So I felt like I really brought a lot of value to our team in that sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely awesome for those guys to have somebody like you in there for them. And one of the fighters that you coach at Glory, Megan Anderson, just recently made her long-awaited UFC debut a few weeks ago, UFC 225, and unfortunately, the result wasn't ideal. Were you surprised at all by Holly's game plan? I think that Holly's proven in the past that she's very deceptively strong, and is seen in her fights with Ronda and Cyborg, where she was able to control clinch positions much better than some may have expected her to. So, of course, I know you worked on everything in camp, but I don't think anyone really expected such a grappling heavy attack from Holly.
Actually, no, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew Megan would have the better of the stand-up, and I said before the fight started, I feel like whoever was going to win the clinch battle was going to win the fight.
Mm-hmm.
We worked in the clinch a lot for it, and Holly's a veteran. You know what I mean? Like Holly's a vet. She's a vet. That's plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
She finds ways to win. I think she's extremely undervalued in the durability department. She's very, very durable, tough, good cardio, good angles. She's very good everywhere. Megan, I feel like striking at distance is one of the most dangerous strikers out right now in MMA.
Mm-hmm.
She's got power. She's got good stance switching. Her knees are phenomenal. I did not think for 1 second Holly would stand across from her and strike with her for 3 rounds. And I knew it would end in the clinch. I really think that Holly just got a ton of experience. That goes a long way. A fight IQ, ring generalship. She's experienced on how to win, if that makes sense. Megan's young. She's still raw. She's still green. She's got a lot to learn. And she went up against a veteran that night that we just got out game planned. Really, that's the nature of the beast. But Megan she's a very cerebral fighter. She will overcome this. And she, like I said, she's got a ton to learn still. She's still so young in the game. She's been with me for 3 years, I think. Not even. I mean, she really hasn't been training that long at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, to me, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, we always want to win. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that we lost, but I mean, we're comparing somebody that's been fighting their entire adulthood to somebody that's been training for 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? She's super young in the game. She's going to be back, and she will be a world champion. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I agree. And you touched on it yourself with the experience difference. And in cases like this, I think it's a perfect example of Megan getting what Daniel Cormier calls the rub, where now that she's been in there with someone like Holly, regardless of the outcome, it will have been a beneficial experience. Do you agree with that theory?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I always look at fighting as kind of like whenever you get in there, two people bring I don't know how to explain it. They bring like imagine each fighter had like a stat bubble above them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, for example, on I don't know, on Holly's stat bubble, she's got a high fight IQ. She's good boxing. Her clinch work might be a little different, whatever. And she has this bubble that's over her head in fighting. And then we have Megan's bubble, who's super explosive and powerful, nice at range. And whenever you fight, those bubbles kind of clash. And whenever you experience that, it's like buying a new car, kind of. Like, whenever you sit in the car for the first time, you're like, oh, man, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, for example, okay, if I put let's say I got a Ferrari and I let you sit in it, you're like, oh, man, this is nuts. This Ferrari is awesome. But if you sit in that Ferrari every day for a year straight, at the end of it, it's not a big deal because
Mm-hmm.
you've experienced that. It's not new anymore. So whenever two people fight, especially when they have a clash of styles like those two, they kind of pull from each other. You know? So Megan getting to experience 15 minutes with Holly Holm is, you know, she experienced what that high level feels like, what the clinch feels like, what the footwork, the fight IQ, and of course, you know, we've already picked up numerous things from that fight. So yeah, I mean, of course, she's just having the 15 minutes to share with somebody else like that at that level is, you know, you get a ton from it, a ton.
Oh yeah. I love the car analogy too. When considering she just got a brand new car, and I like that. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a coach, do you want anything specific for her next, like a quick turnaround or a bit of a break, or just like whatever makes no difference at this point?
I don't think she's gonna have a quick turnaround, regardless of what we want her to be. The division is kind of at a standstill,
Yeah.
especially with the Ultimate Fighter going on the last season. They're, you know, it's only class, so my guess is they're going to make her wait until that's over, which is fine with me. I mean, as a coach, I feel like we have a lot we can work on in the meantime and only get better. So it's really no difference to me. She's a competitor. If she can compete within that time, I'm 100% in on it. I personally, if it was my choice, I would be somewhere in between, maybe 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like some time to work on some of the holes that we gathered, but we'll fix them regardless, of how much time we have. So I'm not really sure what they're wanting to do quite yet.
Yeah. So outside of Fight Talk, the event was held in Chicago. Did you guys get a chance to do anything fun while you were there, or see anything cool?
I mean, we went to the Bean, just the normal tourist stuff. I mean, nothing really. At Fight Week, she had one of the toughest media schedules I've ever seen from any fighter. She had the same manager as Conor McGregor, and the manager said that her schedule was tougher than Conor's.
Wow.
So, sometimes, so we were busy with interviews and all day, every day. So, I mean, we didn't have much downtime at all.
Yeah, crazy. And speaking of Chicago and circling back to UFC 225, CM Punk made his MMA return that same night. What do you make of that whole thing with him, man? I want to know how you would approach the situation of having someone like CM Punk come to you and ask you if you could teach him how to fight.
You're asking me how I feel like about him as the situation as a whole?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obviously like two extremes to the story. There's the guys that are like, oh, he doesn't deserve to be there, and look, man, in my opinion, it's not about what you deserve. It's about what you've earned. And I don't want to say he's necessarily earned the right to fight in the UFC because his skill level is not there, obviously, but he's. I mean, the purpose of bringing him in was for sales, right? To bring a new audience in. And businessman, I get why they brought him in. I completely understand. They're trying to pull the WWE crowd, and bring him in and bring some wrestling fans with it because it's a similar demographic. It's pretty much the same demographic. So I get the idea behind it. I'm indifferent. Like, I'm not mad that he's in there. The problem is when you get a guy like him in there, like, there's just not. When you put somebody like him in the UFC, you're kind of setting him up for failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if he wants that, if he's willing to take on that challenge, I respect that. But there's just not a lot of guys that he's going to be able to come in and beat. You know what I mean? Like you're putting a high school football player in the NFL. Just because he sells a little bit more tickets, and that's fine. I respect that he has that ability, he has that star power to be thrown into the NFL immediately. But at the end of the day, when he gets that ball, he's going to have an NFL player hitting him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so, you have to. He's not going to be super successful doing that. Now, the second part of your question is if he were to come to me and say, "Hey, can you train with this?" Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think any coach would enjoy that challenge. It's a big hill to climb, and I respect CM Punk for. What is he supposed to do? You hear all these videos out here saying, chase your dreams, don't listen to what other people say, and then you get these idiots in the same sentence say, oh, he doesn't deserve to be there. Well, who the fuck are you to tell this guy that he shouldn't do something? You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Like, if this guy wants to fucking do it, he's obviously proven that he can get there. He's here. So why shouldn't he do it? Because somebody else said he shouldn't?
Yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, any coach in their right mind would love that challenge. Would love that challenge. Now, the problem is let's say he beat Mike Jackson. Where does he go from there? You know what I mean? There's not a lot of guys. Again, talking about high school football player in the NFL. You know what I mean? If he's the running back, there's not a lot of linebackers in the NFL that you can send him to run to. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's what I mean by setting him up for failure. Because even if he would have beat Mike Jackson, then what?
Yeah,
there's
very
just
true.
not a lot of places for him to go. All that being said, as CM Punk, does he do that? Absolutely, he does that. He does whatever the fuck he wants to do. Chase your dreams. Do what people say you shouldn't do or can't do. Try those things. I love that about him. He doesn't care. As a coach and as a trainer, if he says, hey, can you train me? Well, yeah, absolutely. Do the exact same from a coaching standpoint. Like all these people saying he can't do it. Take that as a challenge. Run with that. That's what life is about. Challenging yourself. CM Punk became a better person off that. He became a better fighter. A good enough fighter? No, not quite. But what is that relative to his life? He's accomplished. Money's not a thing for him. You know what I mean? Like it's about doing what you want to do. Money's not everything. It's about doing what you want to do, chasing your dreams, accomplishing goals. Fuck what everybody else thinks. I get so sick of hearing that shit. Those same guys that are like, chase your dreams, are the same dipshits telling him that he shouldn't do something because he doesn't have the experience. That's just what you want to do, man. So, to answer your question, I respect CM Punk for doing it. I respect the Rufus Sport team for taking him in, taking on the challenge. Highly. I respect both of them. All that being said, at the end of the day, you're still sending a high school football player in to play in the NFL, and that's a tough mountain to climb.